All right, sorry, we had to switch out cameras. So we're going to continue on and get this intake manifold off. I didn't realize at the time that my camera had shut off. But so far what we've done is remove the panels here, there, and the support brace. So now what we're doing is taking this piece out so the intake manifold will come off. Well, I guess what I should have said is so the intake manifold comes off easier. Because it'll still come off the car with all this in there. It's just going to be a huge pain to do it without this being removed. And so that's out mostly. Just going to go ahead and scoop this over and just let it sit right there. It's not going to hurt nothing right there. Take off this piece of foam insulation so I can access the intake manifold better. Now, we do have these two wires that cross over the top of the manifold. We're going to go ahead and unclip this. We're going to need a light so I can see. Get that unclipped. There's a little tab there you got to push in. But because of the way this is built, we have to take all these connectors off to be able to get to that back connector. So that's fun. However, it's probably going to cause some faults either way to have everything undone on this car. They seem to kind of know those kind of things, and well, we're going to have to do some resets anyway. Now, removing all this is probably going to make it a little bit easier to get around that oil filter housing anyway. We'll just kick that over there. We're also going to undo this one. And get that out of the way. So now our intake manifold's a little bit easier to get around. So we're going to take this pipe off, which will just unclip it from there and move that out of the way. Unclip this one and move this out of the way. So we'll have to do all that. This is also going to be part of the high pressure fuel system, so there is going to be a little bit of fuel lost. And but yeah, once that's all undone, this should come out fairly easily, and then we can move on to replacing this housing here. So that is the next couple of steps. So that is a bracket that holds the throttle body down. And there's the other bracket that holds down the back end of the intake. So again, we're going to go ahead and unclip this and get this over and out of the way. We can see it's this wire that connects this wire and this wire. Now, you can see this is just a little bit of a loop. So we're going to go ahead and unplug this connector so this moves out of the way. And so this one moves out of the way. Now it's got the same style clip. So we'll undo that. We'll take those two off and then flip this harness up out of the way. And while we're doing that, we're also going to carefully remove this so as to not break it. Because these being little plastic lines, they can be very brittle. That one doesn't need to come undone, it's just in this one. All right, so that one's out. That one's off. And that's unplugged, so we managed to not break it. Get that out of the way. Now we are going to have to go ahead and remove this Alright, so that's undone. That's undone. I'll go ahead and carefully pop that out. We need to be able to slide this off. For a couple of reasons. One, we need to get this connector under the manifold, or under this, undone. Two, that coupler has to be undone as well. So what we're going to try to do is just let this sit right there out of the way, so we don't have to undo that connector or coupler, because those particular couplers can be difficult, to say the least. So with that being out of the way, the only thing we should have to do is undo those bolts there, and then we should be able to remove this intake manifold. So